This portion of the John Fredericks Show is brought to you by Hargrave Military Academy. Attend an educational and informative open house event at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. For more information, visit online at hargrave.edu. Hargrave Military Academy. Build his future.
Joining us now from Washington, D.C. is Republican Congressman from the 2nd District of Virginia, Scott Rigell. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Good morning, John. Good to be back with you.
Now, I want to get right to Obamacare, Obama website. One thing I was just saying earlier before you came on, I just want to get you to comment on it. Maybe it was me, because I really try to give the president the benefit of the doubt when I can. But I thought it was outrageous that he's up in front of business leaders of the world talking about his website when we spent $700 million on it plus.
Yeah, John, I tell you, I do think it was poor judgment, perhaps narcissistic, but in any case, it's been an embarrassment, really, to the world. I mean, that's not an overstatement. Mm-hmm. The world has looked at us and said, "Look, we can't even get a website right," and none of this, of course, is something that we really wanted advanced. Just yesterday, John, I talked to one of the leading providers of employee benefits in the 2nd Congressional District. I was on the phone about 45 minutes with them, 3 top leaders in that field, and they basically unloaded, not necessarily on me because they know that I've fought to replace and stop that from becoming law and replacing it with something else. But, John, this not beyond the website, just beyond the website, the constraints of the act itself has just fueled uncertainty, and small businesses and individuals are just reeling from the harm that it's created. It's not good.
No, and there's really no end in sight. We've got other information coming out that when you look at the websites that have been put up and run by individual states, that they're also rampant with problems. And this is now into the billions of dollars of wasted money because the federal government is paying the states that set their own exchanges up, and some of them are ridiculous. I mean, if you look at Delaware, for instance, only 5 people in the state of Delaware have actually enrolled. 5 people.
It's really a stunning, though true, statistic. John, as I see it, we've got 2 challenges here. The first one, of course, is the website itself and just the uncertainty that that's created. And, you combine that with what the Consumer Financial Protection Board's doing on the financial side. I just talked to some lenders yesterday, and they're really paralyzed. Now you got healthcare, reeling that whole sector from this. And then, the administration's perplexed why the economy isn't just chugging along. But so we got this short-term problem. But we also have a longer-term problem, John, and I think the key is, what I mean by that is over the next year or so, if we'll call that the longer term here, right, is that we have to, and I'm saying me as an elected official and others, have to shape this frustration into a positive direction. That is, we need to take this widespread disapproval of this law, and it is now shared by so many independents and Democrats because they're seeing this isn't some theoretical issue out here between Republicans and Democrats. Democrats are reeling from this. Independents are reeling from this and then being harmed by this.
Exactly.
So the key is to harness this and direct it in a positive way, unwind the most onerous and oppressive parts of the act, replace these things with wiser alternatives. But there's a window here, and I just don't want the American people to get used to this. That concerns me, John. It really does for the long term.
Well, there's no question. There's a lot of frustration out there, and there's also fear and apprehension. I mean, I've told the story so many times just in my own family. Our insurance got waxed, and now I'm looking at paying several $100s or more a month for something that is of no value to me because I went from a $500 deductible to $12,000. Well, I mean, that's like ridiculous.
Stunning.
I mean,
it's really unconscionable, and it's just a terrible I think, burden on the American people. Government is actually doing harm to the American people, which is the opposite of what government should be doing, which is building roads and keeping a strong military and the limited things that the government does very well. And this massive intrusion into this part of our economy really has hurt hardworking Americans of every political party and no political party. And as I said, and I really believe this, John, the key is what do we do with this? And I think that Republicans have to offer positive alternatives and not just pile on, but really be part of the solution. And that's important. We have that duty as leaders in the Republican Party.
We are with Congressman Scott Rigell from the 2nd District in Virginia. He's a Republican that covers Virginia Beach, the Eastern Shore, some other areas in Newport News. Congressman Tom Price, by the way, he was my former congressman when I was in Atlanta, Georgia. He thinks he's got the answer. Do you think what he has proposed has any legs?
Yes. In fact, I strongly support what my friend Dr. Price is doing, and I think the number is over 20 physicians who are serving in the House of Representatives who are Republicans. I mean, this is a topic that Republicans understand well and care deeply about, and it's a shared value. It really is to provide more coverage and better care to more people. And so I don't concede to my Democratic friends that they care more about health care than I do or we do in the Republican Party. And he introduced H.R. 3000 in the 112th Congress, the last Congress, and he reintroduced it in this Congress. And it has my full support. I think one of the key attributes of it is that the coverage is really owned by the patient. So there's a real portability aspect to it. There are other parts of this. I could go into them if you'd like, but there is a viable alternative here. And I'd ask, all the listeners and really folks across the 2nd District to give careful consideration to it, because there are better alternatives to what we have now with what is truly the Unaffordable Care Act.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, what Republicans have to do is they do have to offer an alternative that's positive, that works, because this whole thing started because everybody knows that the healthcare system in the United States has some real issues behind it. That's what put the gasoline in the engine of Obamacare to start with. But I think, as we've all seen, I mean, it's just a bad law. Yeah, it's a bad law.
It's a complete disruption, John.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And there are many aspects of the American healthcare system that were working really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
The innovation, the technology, Americans have led in this for many, many decades, and that type of innovation is I'm convinced will be stymied, under this, and it's the most serious thing that I think that we've been presented with as a country in a long time. Of course, the budget's a big concern of mine as well. In fact, this is not helping that part of it at all.
Congressman, I want to shift to foreign policy for a minute. I've got about 2 more minutes.
Yes.
Yesterday, President Obama had several Senate leaders with him, and he was imploring them, as well as House leadership, to give him time to continue negotiations with Iran and to stall re-upping the sanctions.
I sharply disagree with the president on this. I think the Iranian regime, and not the Iranian people, but the regime itself, John, they really don't understand anything other than force and pressure. I certainly want the negotiations to continue. That's a good thing,
mm-hmm.
but they must be within the context and within the crucible, really, the pressure of the sanctions. I'm convinced of this, and I do want to say before you have to button up here that the folks of the 2nd District, and really from whomever, wherever, are welcome to join us this Saturday. I'll be having a town hall at the Ferguson Center at Christopher Newport University at 10 a.m. this Saturday, and I'd hope that folks would come out and join us. I really believe this is an hour in our country where people need to be fully informed and hold their elected officials accountable, get engaged in this whole process of governance. And a town hall is a classic American way to do that. So there's one this Saturday, 10 a.m. At Ferguson Hall there, Center at CNU.
So as I understand it, the way your town hall works, Congressman, right, anybody can just show up, 10 a.m., you just go to Ferguson Center, Christopher Newport University, you can come up, you can ask a question if perhaps you're interested in that. And
sure, time permitting, yeah, I mean, we typically have more questions than I can get to,
right.
But it's all, it's a random process. Anybody's got as good a chance as another person of asking a question, and they're really informative. I enjoy them. Some questions are more difficult than others, but that's all right. We need to work through some difficult topics as a country, and it's better for us to meet and to talk. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, I'm going to put the word out on that. Again, Saturday, Town Hall with Congressman Scott Rigell at 10 a.m. at the Ferguson Center at Christopher Newport University. That's at 10 a.m. That's in Newport News. Congressman, as always, we want to thank you for your time. We appreciate your being with us today. We'll have you back.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.